Alright, we are on the draw against, I believe, Boggles. And our hand's pretty mediocre. However, we do have a Condescend. Um, if we were on the play, this hand would be great. Because we just get to Condescend whatever they do on turn 2. Instead, we need to Condescend on turn 3, which could just miss. They might just have the extra mana. So, it's going to be frustrating if we don't get to Condescend and then we miss on land drops, but if we hit land drops, we have Dignitary into something. Alright. Opponent needs to F8. Alright, lead with the island. Oh, we drew a Tron piece, which, not the worst. Definitely want to draw Tron pieces rather than more basics. Unless they're forest, I suppose. Having the forest is pretty nice in this spot. So now if we get an experience, we can get forest and then play forest piece next turn. Or turn 3 rather. What they choose? White, I assume? Nope, green. I don't like where this is going. Alright, I hope they don't rip their land. If they don't rip a land, then then my Condescend is going to do some good work. This is the third Boggles opponent that chose green on their Utopia Sprawl. The first two made a mistake. They should not have chosen green. Let's see if this was a correct play for my opponent. Like, if my opponent has Abundant Growth plus something, like Rancor, then I don't know. I guess this all depends on if my opponent just rips their land. They kept a sketchy one-lander, so... Like, I don't think they had Utopia Sprawl in their hand, otherwise they would have played that first turn, right? Yeah. All with you. Yeah, this is actually a good thing to counter. The trample source is pretty important in this matchup, because you can start chumping later. Wonder if they have the shame land after the Condescend. Prism seems good enough to keep. I have the 4th land for Dignitary, and now I get to go Prism into the second Tron piece. Taking it 1 seems okay. Alright, if we can get Tron at some point, we get Teachings for Dispel, or rather, Teaching for Ephemerate, and then Flashback Teachings for Dispel, or whatever. Anyway, we can need to hit Tron. If we hit Tron, we're going to win this game. If we don't hit Tron, we're racing their Fling becoming lethal, which hopefully will happen later rather than sooner. But they have white mana now, so they get to armor up the scout, even if they miss land on their mask. So they're going to hit me for some amount. Rancor, huh? Okay. They have the armor as well. Alright, 13. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. They have the second trample source. Hopefully I just rip plant or dispel next turn. Map would be okay, but not perfect. Of course, my opponent also could just have 3 mana cards in hand, right? Or more creatures. More creatures are pretty worthless. Okay. Alright. Not dead to Fling yet, but basically dead to Fling. Okay, I'm actually just going to evoke the Muldrifter, because if I don't have a land in the top two, I'm dead anyway. So, let's just evoke Muldrifter, see what we draw. We whiffed. Now we'll just block Scout with the Dignitary and see if we die to Fling or another armor. Because, like, if I just play Dignitary there, what am I actually doing? Nothing. I think evoking Muldrifter and just trying to draw my land for the turn so I can play Moment Space is better. They can Dispel Moment Space if they have a main deck, but that at least gives me a chance to, like, draw into Tron to try to lock the game up. I don't think going to 1's correct here. I did choose green, huh? I can think of a couple flash auras that would get me. So let's just block. We're dead to Fling, whatever. Well, no Fling. Sweet. That would have been even better last turn, but I'll settle for it. If I could be at 11, that would be really nice, but they don't have the Fling, so they're drawing to it. Which gives me a lot of time. Like, there's no way they don't just go for it last turn, right? They get back both their Rancors, so... Yeah. More creatures are dead draws. Lands at this point are probably dead draws. Trinket Mage. So I die to Dispel main deck if I go Trinket Mage and then Moment's Peace. But I then survive if they don't have that. So we're going to Moment's Peace during their upkeep. And just hope they don't have Dispel. Because if they don't have Dispel, then I get to get Tron next turn, play a Prism, and then try to win from there. I think it's pretty easy to win from there. But that requires them not to have Dispel here, and also not to draw Fling. Don't rip Fling, I suppose. More creatures. More creatures. Alright, cool. Compulsive, huh? Let's just get our plant. Extremely powerful plant. I'm gonna float one and Prism. Alright. I'm gonna compulsive, because if I draw Flicker, I can do things. Well, that's not a Flicker. Alright. We have to fade one more turn. If our opponent misses, if they didn't hit Dispel last turn and they don't hit a Fling this turn, we win. Because then we can Teachings for... We can lock up combat. We can Teachings for Dispel, not die to Fling. So they had one draw at Dispel and then two at Fling. Yeah, I guess that's okay. Alright. Don't rip. Doesn't look like a rip. Looks like green to me. Oh no, they get to redraw. But they weren't sandbagging lands, so they can't draw land and fling. So, I think we're fine. I think we got this. Flicker helps tremendously, I suppose. Let's go ahead and get Dispel. I should have gotten something else. I think I should have gotten Prohibit in case they're playing Thud instead of Fling. Whatever. If I die to that, then I die to that. Actually, I'm gonna flicker that in the pass turn. Because I can win from here, right? I don't need to worry about dying to a Thud. I can just flashback Teachings into turn, right? With that extra mana, while keeping up Dispel. And if I do it during the end of the turn, they can't Thud me. They have to Fling. At which point I can Dispel. Now, my opponent may have drawn Fling plus Dispel off of these two draws, plus their draw step. But, well, I guess the last turn's draw step as well could be Dispel. But they didn't have Dispel during their upkeep, and they didn't have Fling before playing the Growth. And then they Astrolabed into a land. And they didn't have the Astrolabe, because otherwise they would have played... Okay, no. Their draw for the turn was Growth. It drew into Astrolabe, and then they drew into Forest, right? Because they would have played the Astrolabe or the Growth before... on the turn they played this last Boggle. So, we know what their hand is. It's not Fling, it's not Dispel. Except... No, because the Forest had to come off the Astrolabe. Alright, yeah. They have one card in here. They have one unknown card in their hand. They have a bunch of crap, and they just drew that Forest. Cool. Anyway. Yeah, cloak it up. Cloak it up. Let's go ahead and Teachings for a Teachings. The next turn we get to wall back the Flicker and stop combat. That's a bad way to tap. I should play the island because I'm not going to draw any cards this turn. I guess it doesn't matter. My opponent makes me float mana to Dispel something. I get to, I could just use that floating mana immediately. Yeah, not a real big problem. My opponents have been playing insanely slow today. This is game 1, and my opponent has 15 minutes left to my 21. Anyway. Whee! Don't want Lone Missionaries. Don't think I want Pyroblasts. Don't want Shattering Bolts or Gut Shot. I might want some Blue Blast, but we'll figure it out. I don't want Condescend on the draw. You can cut a Horror, cut the Pulse, keep Dispel and Prohibit. I've got the Forest now for the Serene Heart, so that's cool. I think I'm going to want one Blue Blast, cutting a Flicker. On the draw, I don't think I need that many counters, because like, if I... On the draw, your concern is stopping combat damage. And these counters don't really do anything to help you with that. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. There's a chance I should swap this Ball Drifter out for something else. Another Blue Blast, maybe the second Horror, maybe the Ghost that have all 6 flickers in, but think I'll do it like this for now. And our opponent's going to use all their time on sideboarding because they're probably triple queuing. I guess we could go back to this screen. Man, Roska's already won. Jeez. Very quick. Anyway. Oh, we're back. Excellent. I was going to count to see how many X2s we could expect there to be, but well, we're in the game. And this hand is fine. Could be too slow. I could miss my third land drop, but it's very unlikely to miss a third land drop with 3 card draws plus three draw steps plus double Astrolabe. But our opponent might just go turn 1 Boggle, turn 2 6 damage, so. Second Tron piece helps. It helps if we aren't dead. Which, we may be dead. Hopefully we aren't, though. Maybe our opponent just misses on white mana. You don't know. Maybe. Oh, they just hit white mana. Alright. Do they have Rancor? No. Do they have armor? No. Okay, maybe they have Rancor. I'm going to lead with the Prism. If I drew another Astrolabe, I'd wish I'd play the Astrolabe instead. But I'd rather use 2 mana this turn instead of 1. Which I would have. I would just use 1 there. So I drew Tron, but it might be too slow. Never mind. It's going to be just fine. We might die to land Mask and then them having Fling. So I don't know if there's a way we play around that. I'm going to have to discard a lot of cards. So I'm just going to Muldrifter first. Alright. Discard the second to mine. I guess I can just click it. No dragon. No dragon needed. So we go Tron, Dignitary. Oh, never mind. Our opponent doesn't have armor, clearly. They would have used it. So we need to worry about land, Ancestral Mask, and then them having Fling. Which I think means we are fine. Let's see if we draw a good card off this Astrolabe. Not really. This is stupid. Let me research first. There's no reason to research after playing Dignitary. Discard a Island? Sure. And play Dignitary. So discarding the island is like whatever. But if my opponent does something like destroy all my artifacts, I really want to be able to cast Stonehorns and Moment's Pieces. Well, they hit their lands, so they can mask up their Scout. Fling is not lethal yet, though. They need another enchantment. Moment's Piece is cool, but I'll start with evoking a Muldrifter and then flickering it and the Dignitary, unless I hit something specific. Definitely gonna flicker here. We have drawn a few lands. Alright, we found the counter for Fling. Let's start with a Prism, and then a Power Plant, and then we'll discard some lands. Okay. Plains at least cast Ephemerate. So, I don't have another Flicker. I can Teachings for 1. But I do have a Dignitary, and I can go Dignitary, horror back their Plains to cut them off of non-green mana. Rather, blue and red mana. They could just play their Plains and have white mana. At which point, well, they had double mask. They were kind of stalled out on mana there. That is the problem with playing 3 drops in your aggro deck. So we're starting with Plains into Dignitary. And then we'll hit the Plains. So we don't need to worry about Fling until they find another red source. And if they do, we have a Blue Blast. What are they going to discard? A Boogle, a Bogle, a Boggle, Boggle. Anyway, we also have Moment's Peace, which, if our opponent doesn't find blue mana, is good enough. Or red mana, I suppose, if they have Flaring Pay. Alright, do they have another Abundant Growth, Utopia Sprawl, and or Astrolabe? Which they could have. They do not. Alright, let's get that last Snowland out of here. Let's go ahead and Snipping Tool this. Oops. There we go. Ephemerate should be good enough. Let's start with a Trinket Mage into Astrolabe. So we know they don't have a land in hand. Well, maybe they drew the cartouche last turn. Maybe they didn't. I kind of lost track there. Let's just bash for 2, and then Moment's Peace. Yeah, I'll let them draw a card. I could have Horde their warrior to bring him down to 1 card, but I don't think that's necessary. And I do want to let them attack first. Oh. Yeah, I guess I could survive just blocking here, right? So attacking with the Flyers, or the Ledgewalkers is pretty good. I don't feel I should block here. I'll counter Manamorphose if they played that. I don't want them having Flaring Pain. That would be bad. Let's go ahead and flicker here, and then bounce the Warrior. Bring him down to 1 card in hand. And hopefully draw us into something. I'm going to hold back on the Ephemerate, I believe. Okay, that locks the game up. Okay, whew. Don't even need to play the stupid, well, stupid anythings. Stupid anythings. Yeah, I don't see a sequence of cards my opponent can play that could win from this position. I guess I can just hold back Scout and have to beat him to death with Maul Drifters. Well, first things first. I want to kill my opponent this turn. We'll start with Flicker. We'll go ahead and flicker our Horror and Muldrifter, trying to bounce this Ancestral Mask. And Ancestral Mask. If we found more flickers there, we could try to just kill them, but not to be. No, I guess I can only bring him to 1 anyway. Okay, there it is. I was gonna bounce their other mask, and then Ephemerate, draw 2 cards, and then bash. And then they're forced to block with the Scout. Anyway, long story short, we have gone 2-0 3 times, making us 3-0. Hopefully we keep getting good draws, hopefully keep drawing spells and lands, and hopefully we keep winning some direwolves.